So right now I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I have a pretty normal streaming setup going on right now. You can see all the gameplay here, you can see me in the corner, and you can also hear me on this really awesome Beacn Mic that I'm using right now. Now, if you really want to step up your streaming game, one thing you have to keep in mind is that audio is 50% of video, and it's actually one of the more crucial parts of video that gets overlooked. Obviously, you want a really high quality webcam to capture yourself for your stream. I'm actually using a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 in webcam mode, so it can follow me around, which is actually kind of cool. But I paired this off with the Beacn Mic, and I think I sound pretty good right now. I can actually hear myself live through the microphone as well, but I really like the way that my voice sounds. Now, the Beacn Mic is a dynamic USB microphone, so everything is built into the mic. So you have a chip in here with the processor, everything's happening locally in here, all of your preamps are inside of the mic, and then there's a lot going on the software side that makes this really easy to use. Because if you want to get into streaming, but maybe you don't have a degree in audio engineering, this does a lot of the legwork that you need to make yourself sound as professional as possible. And again, I think I sound pretty good. Now, the Beacn Mic is a cardioid pickup pattern. That means that you're going to get audio from the front and it's going to reject audio kind of from the rear here. So you want to talk into it directly like this. And one tip I want to give you if you do want to get into streaming, you want to make sure that you work with the microphone and have it as close to you as possible. And then you want to make sure that you set your levels for this distance that you're keeping your mic from the microphone. So that's why you see a lot of the higher end streamers where they always have a microphone just like right in front of their mouth there, even though they're on camera playing something. That is the best way to get the best audio quality, is by having the mic right there. One thing I see a lot of people do is they have a USB, cardioid mic, but they'll put it on their desk. And so it has to raise the gain just to get the audio from that distance away from you. So it ends up picking up everything in the room. This way, it sounds a lot better. But the software that comes with the Beacn Mic is actually doing a lot of the heavy lifting as well. So over here, again, I have Cyberpunk 2077 running right now, and I'm running this on a small form factor build that I did recently. And I'm doing this on purpose because this game is obviously pushing this to the limit, and the fan is running a little bit loud, but I don't think it's being picked up at all by this microphone. And that's because of the software noise suppression. I'm not hearing it in my headset. I don't think you're hearing it at home either. So I'm going to close out Cyberpunk, and we're going to take a look at the Beacn software very quickly. Setup is extremely easy. First of all, it's one really long USB-C microphone, so you can just plug it in and it plugs directly into your computer and install the software. You're good to go. Now, I paired this off with the Beacn mic stand, which I really like this mic stand a lot. Obviously, you can bolt it to your desk here, and it also comes with a grommet if you want to drill through your desk and have it, more secure. You could do that as well. But this does a really good job of holding the microphone. You can tighten this to make sure it holds everything in place, but you can still move everything around. And you're still able to do all of the adjustments that you have to do for your mic just to find that one little sweet spot that you want. So I kind of like it offset a little bit here because I have a camera set over there. I have another camera here, so I want to make sure I keep my face kind of open. And speaking of being on camera, these microphones, you want a microphone that's going to look nice on camera. That's something that I feel like doesn't get stated enough. And this microphone looks really nice, especially because it has this little RGB ring here that I'll show you a little bit more in a minute. But it's one of those standout features that just makes it look a little bit nicer, especially if you have a lot of RGB in your setup for your stream. It's going to match everything pretty perfectly. But looking at the Beacn software, once you get the USB mic set up, plug in the USB, and then obviously it comes with this 3.5 millimeter audio jack extender, which is what I'm running the headphones to, so I can listen to myself through the mic directly. So then I can have a good idea of, like, if I get too far away, I can hear how quiet I am right now. So then I can be like, oh, I need to get close to my mic again so I can hear myself a lot better. Now everything's just set up straight into the computer. I have the software open here, and once you get the software up and running, everything's very straightforward. But right out the box, I have not done anything. I raised the gain just a little bit, and I'll show you that there, but I haven't done anything. I haven't done any of the EQ. I haven't set noise suppression or the compressor or anything else. So this is what I sound like right out of the box. Now, there's a lot to go over with the software, and I'm not going to get too granular in this video. I just want to do an overview of some of the Beacn products. But you can see right away up top, you have your EQ, and you can start setting all of your different areas and the different frequencies. And there's a lot of control that you can do. But there's a lot of features in here that can help you set those and really maximize your settings and get kind of the best kind of audio quality for your room. And for, some rooms are echoey than others. Some have like a low hum in the background. And there's a lot that you can do to eliminate that with the EQ. One thing I want to talk about here on the bottom with the mic setup tab. So you can see my levels as I'm talking right now. So when you are setting this up and you're talking, you want to try to make sure that the speaking area here, which you can see in green, you want to make sure that your voice is naturally falling there. And then when I stop talking, it drops completely. And if I get too loud, hello, 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 you see it just goes right into that peaking area. But the nice thing about this is that this has a compressor that prevents this from peaking too much. Because one thing, especially if you're going to get into streaming, you have to keep in mind that you want your audio quality to be as pristine as possible, because you don't want to lose any viewers or any subscribers because of poor audio quality. And that also includes background noise. That also includes yelling. I mean, let's say you're playing a scary game and maybe you're known for yelling on camera a lot. Well, you don't want to blow out everyone's eardrums every time you yell. So that's where a compressor comes in, because it takes those high areas and brings them down. And this mic does have 32-bit float, which, if you don't know what that is, that's just a really awesome feature to make sure you get as much kind of dynamic range as possible in terms of your audio quality. And I do not have a degree in audio engineering either. I like this microphone a lot because it just makes all of these things way, way easier. So taking a look through here, you can see that you can just tweak your gain right here to find that right level where you want your microphone kind of like baseline audio to be, your speaking audio to be. You can see that there's a noise suppression. So it's just going to read the background noise and it's going to reject that noise out and cut that out. So for instance, this fan that's running in the background, it's already cutting that out there. You have your expander and your compressor, and both of these help to widen and compress the audio range just to make sure that everything is put into a nice listening level. That's kind of the easiest way to think about it. But the compressor really helps a lot to prevent anything from getting too loud and blowing out everyone's audio. And you can see it in action here. So that's actually kind of nice. And then obviously you have your headphones here for what you're monitoring through your headphones, which is what I'm doing right now. You also have so many different RGB settings. The reactive one is kind of my favorite one because you can just do, let's try this. Let's see how that looks. Check, check, check. There we go. Okay, so it's going from red to blue when I'm talking on the mic there. That's actually kind of fun. I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn it slightly. So when I talk, you can see that it's registered, and that's actually kind of a fun feature that you can add on there. So I'm going to turn this right back over. And so there's a lot of settings here that you can do, and I don't want to get too in depth. It has a lot of presets, you know, a lot of things that you can do that just make it a lot easier to just jump in, plug and play, and just start using right away. And that's something that I'm always looking for when it comes to products like this for beginners. If you want to start getting into streaming and taking it seriously, right? If you are regularly scheduled to stream 2 to 3 to 4 times a week and you're really making that investment in yourself to do it, then you also need to make that investment on the hardware side. And a good microphone with settings like this all built in is really the way to go, because that'll just get you up and running and make you sound a lot better. Now, there's a whole bunch of other products that Beacn has as well. For instance, I have this Mix Lite over here, and this is really good for changing the audio for in-game, or changing things for the headphone volume, or changing the mic gain, or anything like that. And this is programmable. You can set this for a wide range of different things. So this is something that we have available at Microcenter as well. And there was one other thing that I actually wanted to show in the Beacn software very quickly, because I think this is a really important feature, and I've seen other people call this out, and I think this is worth talking about. In the mixing suite, you can do a lot of customization for having audio channels filtered out, especially going to specific places. So for instance, if you are streaming, but you want to capture your desktop audio for the game, but you also want to listen to music as well, you can have it filter this VOD track, have it filter out the music. So the music is not going to your stream. So your VODs aren't going to get any copyright strikes, or you're not going to run into any issues. So you can listen to whatever music that you want, and that'll be filtered out. And that's actually a really cool feature that you really want if you're going to get into streaming, because let's be honest, if you're playing a game, you're going to want to put on some background music, especially if you're playing for a long period of time and you want to listen to your favorite music. So having that feature just makes it's a quality of life thing, right? It's going to make things a lot better for you. So that's something I wanted to call out. There's a wide range of other features here, and Beacn has some content out there that really deep dives into everything that they have to offer. And they're always offering updates, they're always adding things. So that's really, really cool. But I always like to focus on the straight out of the box experience. I literally set this up not even 30 minutes ago, got this up and running, and I think this sounds great. So I think there's a lot to say just for going from 0 to where I am right now. I can push it a little bit further and tweak it a little bit more for my voice to really maybe bring out some of the bass or bring out some of the other tones and really maximize how this is going to sound. But this is how it sounds right off the bat. Now, there's another thing I want to talk about. This is a USB microphone, right? So everything is built into the mic, everything that you need. So your preamp is there, processor is there, there's a whole board in here, like everything's taken care of there. But maybe you already have an XLR mic. So for instance, this is the Shure SM7DB that we use for our podcast room. And this is XLR output only. So that means you're going to need an audio interface to go from that analog XLR to, a digital signal that could be read by your computer. Now let me grab it real quick. Now, the Beacn Studio is an audio interface that you can use, which has an XLR input. And what that's going to do is that's going to take that analog signal, convert it to a digital signal, and then it's going to plug into your computer there. This basically allows you to take any microphone in your arsenal and you can use it with Beacn software. So that means I can take this Shure SM7DB, use this audio interface, plug it in, and I can still get this quality of compression and expansion and EQs and everything else. Oh, and one of the key features to point out about the Beacn Studio, it has 2 USB out, so you can do 2 different computers simultaneously. So if you have one computer that you're gaming on and one computer that you're streaming from, you can have the audio signal go to both computers simultaneously, which is pretty cool. It's software that holds your hand to help you get better audio quality, which I actually really appreciate, because I have a video background, and whenever I have to explain anything camera related to someone, there's this whole wall of lore that I have to explain when it comes to camera stuff, right? Like there's this big, dense, like tome of knowledge when it comes to explaining camera stuff, even simple things like aperture and shutter speed and things like that. And then when you get into the audio world, it's the same kind of thing, right? I mean, someone can talk about compressions and noise suppression and equalizers for days and days and days and days, and how different capsules record differently and how they react differently to different things. Like there's so much you can talk about in the audio world. So having a software suite that can simplify it for the end user, which is you, and make your life so much easier just to get started and really just sound as professional as possible, that is the big win in my mind when it comes to the Beacn suite of products. And that's really what you're getting there. Because again, at Microcenter, we have a wide range of computers, tech, everything that you need. So if you really want to be a streamer and you really want to put yourself out there and you have the best PC, you have a 9800X3D, you got a 5090, you have everything maxed out, you have your streamer room set up and everything's looking good. But if you're using a webcam mic, you're gonna sound like trash. I'm sorry to say it. You're gonna have to step up your audio game to sound as nice as this. That's just the way it goes, because if you don't have that nice audio quality, people are going to click out of your stream immediately, and you're not going to build that following base. So that's my little rant about streaming. And just to top things off, just to make things a little bit fun, I wanted to try something. Okay, so this one is just a little bit more fun. I had Copilot write a crime podcast, a true crime podcast. So I'm going to narrate that for you using this. And this is just kind of some fun ASMR stuff that we can do here. Okay. Deep in the back corner of a dimly lit microcenter, shrouded in dust and forgotten memories, sat an ancient Apple II computer. It was a relic from the past, but this particular machine held more than just outdated technology. It harbored a sinister secret. Employees whispered tales of strange occurrences, the flickering lights, the eerie hum of the monitor when no one was near, and the inexplicable cold that would sweep through the aisles. But the true horror began when the computer was accidentally powered on one fateful night. Carlos, the night shift security guard, had heard the stories but brushed them off as mere superstition. Until one evening, while making his rounds, he noticed the faint glow emanating from the screen of the old Apple II. Curious, he approached it, and to his shock, the monitor displayed a message. Help me. Yeah, so I had Copilot write a short crime podcast about a haunted Apple II computer at Microcenter. It keeps going on. Actually, it wrote way more than I wanted, but I think that's kind of a good taste. If you wanted to start a podcast or get into podcasting, then a microphone like this is a step in the right direction to really give you that audio quality that you need. One thing that I do want to call out, especially getting into podcasting, because you will need some sort of audio interface or audio mixer, and there's so many different solutions out there, both hardware and software. If you're getting into solo podcasting, or let's say you're going to call in to some friends and it's like a podcast through Zoom or anything like that, you don't want to have a raw audio signal for your podcast. You do want some EQ, you do want some compression, you do want some noise suppression. The noise suppression will help with any background noise, especially if you live in a noisy area. I mean, maybe it's not going to get out breaking glass or, any crying babies or something else like that in the background, or a barking dog, but it's going to do a good job of removing a lot of the background noise. Like, for instance, if you have a noisy street outside the window and there's like a lot of noise there, it goes a long way. It's going to make you sound a lot better. And also, like, if you're doing a lot of remote work, Teams, Zoom, Slack, all of that stuff, it's going to step up your presentation game a lot. And it's one of those things that really stands out, right? Like, it's always kind of nice to be that guy who has the really good quality mic, the really good quality camera, who is doing a call with you, because at least it feels like they're taking it seriously, right? So that's kind of my rant about the Beacn Mic and the Beacn suite of products. I kind of just wanted to do a quick hands-on demo with some of what's available, and I really like the way that this Beacn Mic sounds a lot, actually. Especially for just getting into streaming, I feel like that's the sweet spot for this microphone. It does all of the heavy lifting that you need it to do to go from, again, 0 to high production value stream. And honestly, I think it looks great. It comes in a black, it comes in a white. There's a wide variety of different foams that you can get for different colors as well. So I really like the way that Beacn supports creators and really just helps them, with the heavy lifting side of things, so they could just focus on the creation part, because you don't want to interrupt your stream to be fiddling with mic settings and things like that. And you just want to focus on gaming, right? Once you get the mic set up, like, that's it. It should be a permanent thing, run forever, just focus on the game, right? So I think that's what you're going to get out of the Beacn Mic and the whole Beacn suite of products. But let me know in the comments below. Let me know how I sound. I think I sound pretty good, but what do you guys think? And would you be interested in more videos like this? Because this is kind of fun to do, and I think there's a lot more that we can cover in the content creator and streamer realm here at Microcenter. So let us know what you would like to see us cover. And remember, stop by your local Microcenter. And if you don't have a Microcenter near you, then make sure you comment #I want a Microcenter near me.